There it is.
All right.
What's up, guys?
Hello.
What's up, YouTube? Tyler here with me. That's Tyler. I'm me.
No, I'm Mario.
Just wanting to, we're going to do something a little bit different tonight. Unfortunately, we're not launching Atomic Habits. And you guys will find out why. We're just going to get right into our podcast and our recording. I have a few notes, but we're just going to see how it goes. And yeah, YouTube, thanks for joining us. No burps tonight. And actually, this is Saturday night at 9:44 p.m. We release this tomorrow at 6 p.m. So we're a little behind. Lots to go over. So yeah, we're gonna get this.
Good stuff.
Yeah, get this party started.
So I guess they have a little bit more time to read Atomic Habits.
Yeah, they do. That's right, Tyler. We're gonna launch Atomic Habits next Sunday. First section. I think it's the first 2 chapters. Did you start reading?
Yeah, reading it or listening to it on Audible. That's
Pretty
awesome.
Nice. All right. Here we go. Let's see. All right. Check. Here we go. 3. What's up, guys? It's Mario for the Made for More Consulting Podcast. Welcome back. We are here in episode 31. I believe it's 31. And tonight we are looking a little bit different as far as in the podcast. So if you watch YouTube, it's just myself with Tyler. Tyler's on.
Yeah, I'm not a Dina.
You're not a Dina, but you're here with me. I want to say I appreciate that. And tonight we are not launching Atomic Habits, so I hate to disappoint you, but there's a good reason why. And yeah, we're just gonna get right into episode 31. Lots of learning this week and reminders. And so if you read the title, it's about learning from loss, or whatever we title. It's going to be something with loss. So yeah, we were set to launch Atomic Habits, and unfortunately a week ago was tomorrow, so Sunday morning, we lost a good friend. His name was Casey Tolbert. Has a family, has 2 older sons that I know and you know, has 2 younger kids, and he adopted through foster care. And he has a wife, Felicia, who worked with me for, I don't even know, maybe 7 years. Have been good friends, and Casey and I have done several things together, worked. We went on mission trips, we made several doctors, hospital visits, did funerals together, weddings together. The first funeral I ever did, Casey actually helped me walk through it. So yeah, a week ago we lost Casey Tolbert, and I think one of the reasons I wanted to hold off on Atomic Habits was just to, again, contemplate what we learned through loss. And it's not easy. It sucks. Loss is never something that we want to say that we enjoy, right? Whether it's losing a game, whether it's losing something, but you can learn from it. And specifically learning from loss of a loved one, a close friend, someone that maybe you don't know very well, but they're in your life every day. Maybe you work with somebody and they're not there anymore. There's some things that go through your head and through your mind, and so just the lessons of loss, lessons in loss tonight, and we're just gonna get into it. So yeah, man, Tyler, I know you've had loss in your life. I know you knew Casey too, right? You and I both took.
He was a big part of the youth group when you first started, I think, right?
Yeah, he was. He was a big part of that. Yeah.
We went on a couple mission trips and stuff together.
Costa Rica,
he's a
right?
Crazy guy, but he's a big teddy bear.
Yeah, he was at some of my first retreats. He was a leader. So yeah, Casey was definitely someone who was larger than life, who's going to leave a legacy because of the way he loved people and the way he and who he was. Like, he never met a stranger. I know one of the things that I mentioned is going into an elevator was always awkward with Casey, because whoever got on the elevator was going to get he was either going to make a farting noise, or he was just gonna say, "Hey, how are you guys doing?" And we just random complete strangers, whether it was at the hospital, whether it was a business building, he always made friends with somebody and just tried to brighten their day. So, yeah, those are things that we can say about Casey. And you know, I know there's several things on Facebook and on social media about Casey, so I'd encourage you to go check that out. Life's definitely not gonna be the same without Casey. I know for his family, and so yeah, man. One of the other things that they mentioned is this is Adina's brother-in-law. So Adina specifically was very, very close to Casey, and that's one of the reasons she's not here as well. One of the reasons we pushed all this back. And so hopefully we'll get Adina back in here next week. But you know, lessons of loss, man. And I thought, let's just talk about a few things that I've learned. I've had to deal with. So have you. I mean, you lost your dad. I've lost some friends. I've lost students. We've lost friends. We've lost students. Whether it was from sickness or suicide or accidents, you and I have seen quite a bit of loss in our lives over the last 10, 12 years. And so there's some things that we take from that, man. And I don't know if you're listening now and you go, hey, I lost someone recently, or hey, I've never lost someone. I definitely want you to have an open mind about what we say. And I need to preface this with, I'm not a counselor, and neither is Tyler. These are just things that we've learned through loss. And so
regular people.
Yeah, regular people, just in growing through it, right? Growing through the loss. And so tonight, here's a few things that we've learned. And you may not agree with some of these, but this is coming from someone who's, again, walked with families. We both have walked through some kind of loss. And so I just put number one, you know, loss sucks, but here it is. Number one, we were all made to be connected, right? Yep. So we're made to be in community. So we learned through loss that, you know what, the hurt, the pain, the missing, it's like a puzzle piece when you finish the puzzle and there's one piece that you can't find.
Yep.
I think your heart sometimes does that because you were made to be in community. I think every single one of us can fight that. But the reason that there's this empty hole, you get emotional because you were made to be in community. I think it's natural to feel like, hey, I'm lost. I think last Sunday when I told you I never take naps, I woke up and I was going, I just wish it was a bad dream. And I woke up going, was that a bad dream? I've never done that in my life, but I go, was that a bad dream? And it wasn't. And I mean, Casey's definitely not the closest person I've lost in my life. You know, my grandparents, one of my best friends, students that you and I loved, your dad. But it's natural to feel like, what in the world am I going to do next? And I want people to know that that's okay to feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, there's that point after you lose someone where you just don't know what's next. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, and one of the things that the reason I say the whole community part, the whole you're made to be connected is, please do not walk through loss alone. Like, you are made to be in community. You're made to be connected to people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you're the biggest introvert, I doubt that you would want the loved ones next to you, closest to you, walking through loss alone. So keep that in mind, as you weren't made to be alone, number one. And so you need to talk to someone. I wrote this down. Talk. Like, you have to talk to someone. Pick one person. Or like if it was Casey, I mean, I think tomorrow we're having a celebration where it's just dinner. And he asked us to put the fun in funeral when he passed away, which is interesting. That was Casey.
Yeah. And
so we're just gonna tell a bunch of stories. And so when someone passes away that's so close to you, even like Casey was suddenly. It wasn't sick, it was just all of a sudden, right? Yeah. And so, but talk. I mean, you and I have talked about some of those things. Darren, his brother-in-law, Adina's husband. We've talked about some of the things that Casey would do, and it's getting those things out, right? It's getting those things out, and it's natural to feel loss. But you had mentioned that whole feeling of once they're gone, what's next? And you know, I wrote down the stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance. And I think I'm still in denial because you and I mean, I'm sitting there going, I can't. Like earlier, you and I were like, I can't believe he's gone.
Yeah, I don't know what stage I got. I mean, I love Casey, but he didn't. We weren't super close, obviously, but I mean, it is odd. Like, just, I mean, one day he's there, and then one day
he's gone, right?
Yeah.
And I think
he's in a better place. But.
Totally. And I think people, like you're saying, if you didn't even know him, there's people all the time that are passing away, even if we don't know them or we were acquaintances, right? We didn't know each other. I knew Casey, but for people that didn't know him, there's still somewhat lost, and you go, that person's not there. So if someone's listening and you're in another city or another place, state, whatever, and you've never processed loss, and someone close to you or someone that's not close to you dies, I think you gotta go, how does that make me feel? What can I, and again, we're gonna go into this, what can I take away from this? But number one, I just said, remember that you were made to be connected. Like, through loss, it just reminds me that you and I were made to be connected to our families, to our friends, to our community. And I don't ever want someone to walk alone through loss, because the way it feels is not good, and if I keep that in, then it's not gonna be better later. So
I think humans are made for community, so I have a tendency to isolate, and I know it's not healthy. Like,
yeah, and I mean, you lost your dad how many years ago?
2012, so like 9 years ago.
9 years ago last month, right?
Yeah, last month.
Yeah, and so yeah, and it was a pretty traumatic thing, and at some point maybe you can talk about that, but on the later podcast. But yeah, man, just loss sucks, but remember that you were made to be connected. So if you lost someone, you're connected to the people closest to you. Need to hear from you. You need to hear from them as well. Set a time and let's just talk about the person that we lost, because you were made to do that together. Second thing I wrote down, Tyler. So one, we're made to be connected. Again, what did loss teach me this week, or remind me, is though here, and I know some people are going to get upset, and I hope that they will read this with, or hear this with an open mind, open heart. And this is coming from someone who's done grief, walking with families in grief, on the side of having to bury their loved one. I've seen it with the best of intentions, right? But don't say insensitive things in loss.
Yeah.
Right?
Just think about what you say.
And you may mean the best, meaning everything happens for a reason, right? I get it, totally get it. I think that I totally believe that in the grand scheme, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
But it would be insensitive for me to go to Alicia and say that, or some loved one that has somebody's lost their loved one, and for me to say something right off the bat. Because one, I think, don't just be careful what you say, rather than even saying anything. Why not just be here for them to talk to you?
Yeah,
How are you
absolutely.
feeling?
Like,
What can I do?
been on that side of it where I lost my dad, and you do hear that a lot, is well, everything happens for a reason. But when someone dies that suddenly, my dad died pretty suddenly as well. It's not something you exactly want to hear at that time.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think instead of saying everything happens for a reason, just wait.
Tell them how you feel.
Yeah,
Like,
and-
if I talk to someone screaming, I try to say, like, I'm sorry. I don't really know what else to say other than kind of I feel emotional for, like, I feel sorry for you.
I'm very sorry. And the other thing is wait to say those things, and instead of saying everything happens for a reason, I'll just give you an example. That one is maybe a year down the road. I talked to one of Casey's kids, and I just say, hey man, what are some of the things that you've learned over the past year since your dad's been gone? Not, hey, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So what? And again, for me on that side going, I would hate to even say that to Alicia or someone close to someone that has lost someone, because I'm sitting here going, that sounds like a load of crap to me sometimes. Because hey, if everything happens for a reason, I don't know what the reason is right now, but I do know that I'm missing someone that was here yesterday and they're gone today. And so I think, again, please listen with an open heart and open ears and mind to go. Intentions may be good, but don't say insensitive things. Like, everything happens for a reason. Let go and let God. Totally get it. Those are great thoughts.
I don't really think you have to teach people lessons in those moments. Like, it seems like you're kind of trying to teach them a lesson. Like, if that's what they want, if that's what they come to you for, absolutely. But at the moment, I would just be there for them.
Just listen, right?
Yeah.
Because
be a listening ear.
Yeah, and then the other thing is to another thing that would be, intentions are good, but these things may be insensitive, is don't be too quick to share your story. I mean, it'd be pointless for me to go and say, hey, let me tell you about the time I lost my,
Yeah.
hey, back up, take a deep breath and just listen to them. Like, or just sit in the room with them. Like, I know when people have passed away before and we go to, you know, grieve with their family, or for me, it was, students' parents. So we had a student pass away and we'd go into their house and they just start showing us pictures and we just ask stories. Like, we just start laughing and then they break down because they're going, they're not here anymore. And that's okay. You don't have to say anything, just sit there with them and try to put yourself in their shoes and go, I don't want to say that. I just want to listen. I just want to listen. I want to know more about them. And so, yeah, number one, remember that you're made to be connected to community. Number two, intentions may be good, but please don't say insensitive things. Think before you speak, please, especially at a time of loss. And number three, Tyler, I wrote this one down, was, you know, this is more so, let's say you know somebody that passed away and they're close to you, but you're not that close to them, but you were friends with them, just like me and Casey. I'll take me and Casey for example. I put share their story of connection. So for me, at some point I need to sit down and go, here was my connection with Casey.
Yeah.
Like, here it was. Here's what we did. Here are the crazy things that we would do. I want to write that out. And here's what I encourage people is, write those out. Don't go to the family and share these with the family. Do that for you, because here it goes back to, again, the stages of grief is, I'm still in denial. And then it says there's anger, then there's bargaining, there's depression, there's acceptance. And I think we get to acceptance somehow to go, okay, they're not here, so let me go through and write down the things that I completely remember. And for me to go, hey, this is what Casey was to me, this is what we do. And I said, you know what, write it down. Write down the story of you and of whoever you've lost. I just keep going back to share their story of connection with you. Write it down. You can post it. I mean, I think as long as it's within respectful of the family.
Yeah.
Just like for me, I posted something about Casey telling people I was gonna miss him. He carried both of my daughters when they were first born. We got pictures with him. And he was always at Halloween, and he was always driving the trailer with the truck on the back. I mean, with the trailer on the back with hayride.
Oh yeah.
And he
Santa, right?
Yeah, he was also Santa. And so those are the things I remember. So I'm writing these things down. I'm sharing those things from social media so that I can get it out of my system, but I'm sharing my connection that I had with him or that person. And I said, pray about it. And you can share what you write, post it, burn it. I'm going, okay, I said burn it because I'm going, what if that's your way of saying goodbye? You never know.
Yeah.
Like, what if I just dump all this stuff out into a notebook and I go, God, this is it. Like, this is the way I'm saying goodbye. Even though I know the spirit lives on, I know that I'm always going to remember them, but this is the way I got to process things. So, share the story of connection. I know that, yeah, anything you got to say on that one?
I think it's a good idea. Like, I personally, when my dad passed, it was good for me to hear stories of how he impacted other people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to hear about people I didn't even know who were impacted by him, like just his heart and his like passion for serving and everything.
That's good, man. And I think some of the things that Casey and I would do, I'll stop right here just to share just a few things so people can understand. Like, so we were always up at the Children's Hospital because we had a few kids, somebody that had cancer, and the Texas Longhorns went to visit these students that had cancer, and me and Casey were in the building, and we're like, oh man, it was Colt McCoy. Colt McCoy was the quarterback for the Longhorns at that time, and we saw him in the room with one of our students, and so we took the opportunity. They told us to stay in this room because they didn't want to bother the Longhorn players, but what did Casey and I do? We went, we got him to sign this football, and not for our student for cancer, but for me and Casey. And so we got this football signed, and we got a picture with him. It's somewhere, it's somewhere on my social media. But then, being at the hospital, they have here in Austin, they have these parking spots that say compact car only or fuel efficient. Yeah, they're really small. Well, Casey drove like a dually at one point, and he would park in those spots and he'd take up like 2.5 spots. And he's like, "What are they gonna do? Come take it?" And they wouldn't. So, yeah, Casey and I spent a lot of time in the hospital with students. So he was also one of the first leaders that got onto me for, there was a student, dude, to this day, this is the only time it happened where I gave that kid a wedgie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he attacked me, like this student attacks me, and I'm not gonna hurt anyone. So all I could do was grab his pants and just pull up because he's like attacking me, and ripped his underwear. And Casey was like, "Dude, you can't do that." I'm like, "Hey, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. You just attacked me." So Casey was upset about that. But anyways,
Learning on that.
yes, definitely. But again, share your stories of your connection with that person. I think it's vital. And also, I think one of the things that Alicia made, and I'm just taking Casey's story as an example, I think one of the things Alicia made enjoy hearing are these stories, because there's so many things that she may not know. Like you said, you enjoyed hearing the way your dad impacted other people's lives. And so I think Alicia at some point, give it time, at some point would love to hear how Casey influenced their lives. And so that's why I'm saying, if you've lost someone and you've never processed it, man, sit down and just write out how they impacted your life and go from there. I got this. Go ahead.
I do think it is therapeutic to get something down on paper. There's something about organizing that. Just taking it out of your head and putting it somewhere else, it organizes it in a way that helps you process it.
Yeah. And one of the things that John DBJ, or actually he's now called Bang Bang.
Bang Bang.
John Bang Bang Evans. One of the things that he taught me, dude, when I first met him, that changed the way I ever saw things, was anytime there's a loss, to go grieve those places that you were with that person, or when those things come up, just to stop, take some time. And like I said, whether you're sharing the story or processing it or writing it down, to do that then. And so at one point I was a student pastor for 9 years, and I knew that it was coming to an end, and it was a sad thing for me and my wife. But John said, "Hey man, let me give you a little advice on grief."
Man.
And it's 10:05 p.m. and I'm yawning because we usually record this on Wednesday and we're recording way late. But anyways, so John tells me, "Hey, every place that you've been a student pastor, every place that you did an event, drive there and grieve those things. Like, go to the middle school and remember that that's where you started. Think through all those memories and say, for me, this is me, I don't know, again, people can believe whatever they believe in, but for me, I'd say, I'd go to the middle school park and go, hey God, thanks for just allowing me to be a part of this. This is where it all started." And then going to Summit, that Christian Academy where we had to rent that place out, and going there and going, "God, this gym sucked, but thanks for bringing so many students in."
Yeah.
And then going down to Blue Hole where we baptized people, going to the land where we're actually at, and just going into the schools and going, "God, this is where you impacted my life in this way or that way." It's going to the actual places, remembering what happened there, and just saying thanks and processing those things, because that was a way that I was going, I'm releasing this.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've learned through loss.
Yeah.
So it's not just people, it's in big events in life where loss is
Oh yeah. There's
taking
all
place.
kinds of grief. Yeah, it makes sense. That's a good idea. I haven't heard of that before, but that's a good one.
Yeah, John, man, really, really good advice there. John Bang Bang Evans, we'll give him a shout out for that. Another thing, man, that's crazy that we're gonna have to edit these yawns out. But so, just recapping so far, as I just said, what have we learned through loss this week, or been reminded is, one, we're made to be in community, and it's okay to feel that natural loss. Number two, even though you have good intentions, don't say insensitive things. Number three, share your story of connection with the person that's lost, like for yourself and for that family. And then number four, this is more for us. And I just put, hug those closer, hug those that are close to you closer, and just mend the relationships you need to mend.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, learn from loss. Like, I hate that it takes loss to remind us that we have to go and tell our daughters we love them, or have a meaningful conversation with each other, to go and say, hey, I can't believe he's gone, and then say, saying the things that we've always wanted to say to people. I hate that. I hate when we go to funerals and people say, hey, I hate that we've gotten together through these circumstances. We need to get together more often. Well, let's remove more often and let's just go, hey, let's get together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know people work, I know there's times, but number 4 is just, man, hug those closest to you and mend the relationships that you have to mend. Call that friend that you haven't heard from in a while. Spend time with your family, with your friends, with your group. And I guess number 4 is just learn from it. Like, learn from loss and remember how important people are to you. And that, because if you fail to have that conversation, or you fail to tell people how important they are, they're never gonna know.
Yeah, I was thinking about that last month when the anniversary of my dad's death came up,
Mm-hmm.
and the lesson I took away from it was like, I don't want to leave people on a negative note. Like, if I died tomorrow, I don't want to leave people. Like, I don't want people to. I don't know how to say it. I don't want them to be left on a bad note.
Yeah,
That's what I mean.
yeah. You don't want someone on this side to go, son of a gun. I never had that conversation with
Get in a
someone
fight
before.
and then someone passes.
Yeah, exactly, man. And I think it sucks to learn that from loss, because there's a wife that didn't have a husband, some kids that don't have a dad, a sister that doesn't have a brother anymore, and those are the things that I think they would say, go home and hug your loved ones.
Yeah.
And have those conversations.
I think we get so stuck in day-to-day stuff that we don't appreciate the people that are around us. Like,
Yeah.
And we all do it, and I do it too. So.
Yeah, and the day-to-day stuff that doesn't matter, and we argue about, we get upset about, and man, I don't know how to do that. I guess it's starting to happen every day to go, hey, I'm gonna. It's atomic habit, right? We start small and just go, hey, 1%. How can I change my life 1% this week on how to remember to love people and have that conversation with people. So I think that those of us that are listening, there has to be someone that comes to your mind that you can go, this week I'm gonna reach out to them because I haven't heard from them in a while. So, learning from loss, you're made to be community. That's why you feel that you're lost. You're made to be connected. Number 2, though you have good intentions, don't say insensitive things. 3, share your story of connection with them. 4, learn from their loss and love the ones closest to you. And then number 5, man, this one sucks, but I just put these are just my words, is just remember time is not on our side.
Yeah.
Meaning, you gotta live life to the fullest. Don't live with regrets. Because, like you said, if I'm gone tomorrow, did I give it 100% today? I can tell you I didn't. Yes, I went out with my daughter, spent some time with her. But how often did I get annoyed at small things? Yes, I know life's gonna happen. Yes, those small things are gonna add up. And yes, things are gonna get to you. But in the end, remember, time is not on our side. And you have to make the most of life right where you're at. And if things need to change in your life, man, change them now. Because again, time is not on our side.
Absolutely. I think that's a good one. You have that calendar, right? Or it's not a.
I still don't even know who sent that.
That's a good one.
Hopefully they listen. If you're listening, it's probably about 4 weeks ago, about a month ago. I got a calendar in the mail. I don't know who sent it, so if you sent it, shoot me a text, send me an email. But they sent me a calendar that has every week that you've lived.
Yeah.
And somebody that knows me knows my birthday, and they put. So when I got the calendar, it was already marked.
Yeah, it
with
comes
all
with
the.
like a series of marks per week.
Yeah. Every week is a mark.
Yeah.
So it had my birthday, January 10th, and how many? 1982.
And then the average lifespan, right?
Which was 85.
So like just seeing the amount of weeks
That I've already
an
done.
average person has, it's crazy. Like people don't put that in perspective, and I think that's a good motivator, like you said.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that was motivating for you, and my wife was like, that's scary. I don't want to look at it.
Yeah, it's a perspective thing. I think it shouldn't be like a morbid kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, and when I saw it, I was like, well, who sent this to me? I want to know who it was. I got a feeling I know who it is, but I'm going to wait to see if they tell me. But it showed, yeah, I've lived so many weeks being 39, and it had it right there marked, and I'm going, man, look at how many weeks I've lived. Do those weeks, yes, those weeks carry stories, but have I making the most of time that I've been here on Earth? I think for the most part, yeah, but I think for all of us, again, in loss, remember that time's not on our side, man. Like, if you want to live that dream, you go for it. If you need to make a decision, man, make that decision. If you need to reach out to someone, reach out to someone.
Let's get moving.
Yeah, and I think the biggest question on that one is, what I always ask people is, who do you want to be? Like, who do you want to be? Don't tell me what you want to do. Yes, I want to launch my own business, and it's made for more, it's motivate, inspire, encourage. But more so, who do I want to be? I want to be someone who goes, I want to go to people and tell them, man, you're here to offer so much more. How can I help you get there? That's who I want to be. I want to be the person that inspires people and encourages people and motivates people. Not starts my business, that's just something that I get to do. That's the what and the how, right? But the who I want to be is someone that goes, I want to bring the best out of people all the time. And so, remember the times are on our side, man. And who do you want to be? And and write down who do you want to be, and write down what matters to you right now. What are the biggest things that matter to you? So, you got anything on that?
I mean, I guess it goes back to the whole start with why thing, where you got to
There you go.
find out what your why is, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you covered it. Like, I've actually been thinking about getting a tattoo that kind of signifies, like, hey, you don't have you're a person, you don't have a lot of time on this earth. Life is short.
Yeah.
And I want to get a tattoo, kind of reminding myself of that. Hey, you got to get going, get moving.
What is the tattoo going to be? Because maybe you
It's-
post a picture of it.
Maybe it's gonna be. I want it to be like a raven, because ravens kind of symbolize death.
That's cool.
So
just knowing that it's there.
yeah,
Okay, that's good, man. So I think recapping what we learned, what I learned that I just wanted to share through loss was, man, remember that you were made to be in community, be connected to people. Don't process life alone. So that's number one. Number two is, your intentions may be good, but don't say insensitive things. Hold your tongue and just listen to that family or listen to people. Number three, share their connection with you. Share how you had a connection to this person that's passed away. Keep it for you, keep it for the family. Do whatever you gotta do, post it. Again, go back and listen to what we just said. Number four, hug those that are closest to you, which means just learn from this. Who do you need to mend relationships with? Who do you need to call? Who do you need to spend time with? And number five was just remember that time's not on our side. And that's tough. Time is not on our side. I think time is ticking. And we got to make the most of it.
Speaking of Casey, I think he's a good person. Like I think he lived a good life. I think he knew time wasn't, life is short, like we said. But what he did in that time was a great thing.
Yeah, man. I think he's a great example of how to live your life. I hate that he's gone, man. And yeah, I got this text from Alicia, his wife. At 6:30 in the morning the other day, I was on my walk, and she said, "Hey, I found this in Casey's phone. It was in his reflection about Costa Rica in 2011. Were you on that trip?"
I don't. If it was,
2011.
I might have been. I think.
That means I was my third or fourth year here. You might have been.
I think
that was a
that
year
would be the first one.
Your first time flying a plane.
Might have been.
She said it was his reflection about Costa Rica 2011. Not sure if he ever shared, so I wanted you to know. She sent me the note. She said, "Mario, I'm blessed to have the opportunity to know you and continue to see God work in your life. I'm proud of the man that you are and the man that you are allowing God to continue to create. I'm proud to serve with you, and I'm proud that we are given the opportunity we have to work with the youth and reach the people of our community." That was simple, Casey. That's the man he was, deep, always encouraging. Yeah, inappropriate jokes. He was kind of like John.
Oh yeah.
I know that over Christmas, when Christmas would happen, I hope Darren's listening to this. Over Christmas, Darren Ramsey Casey, Tolbert, myself would share you can search it in my phone. We'd share, over Christmas, we'd share a text thread, and we'd come up with the most inappropriate lines out of script lines out of Christmas Vacation.
Oh, yeah.
What's it called? National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Chevy Chase, and all those, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Cousin Eddie, yeah.
Think of that RV.
Yeah. Yeah, he's out there unloading it,
Mhm.
and and then the tree goes through, and, hey Clark, where are you gonna stick that tree? Anyways, Casey and I would always text about that. Yeah, man, I think, I mean, I know we're gonna miss Casey. And for those of you listening, if there's someone that's passed recently, make sure that you grieve and that you don't do it alone and that you have people with you. I don't know if this is gonna help anyone at all. This is just something that I thought we needed to put out there since we didn't start the book. But to us, Casey was a big part of our lives. He was important, a part of our family's life, mine and your life. And so, yeah, I think for the Tolberts, we love you guys. Thanks for sharing Casey with us and your family. Looking forward to having Adina back as well. And just thinking about their family through this time of loss. But sometimes life just sucks, dude. And then you gotta look for that glimmer of hope and go, where can I take this and what can I do with it for my life, for myself, and who can I impact and how can I impact with what I'm learning through this time of loss. So Tyler, what else would you say? I mean, you've been through it, so I'm just curious what you would.
I'm not sure what else I would add. I mean, with Casey, I know his family is going to be able to look back at his legacy and see, like, he had a life worth living. Like, I know if I have a life anything like Casey's, it'll be a life well lived.
That's right. So with that, guys, really don't spend much on what we love for you guys to do as far as the podcast. And just thanks for your support. And if you know Casey and Alicia, go on her Facebook maybe or Instagram, shoot her a message, let her know you're thinking of her. And then if you don't, like I said, hug those close to you, process your grief, don't do it alone. And if this helped, maybe just let us know. Remember, you exist for more. You're here to offer more. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up, because every single one of us is made for more.
All right.
Later.
See you guys.
Awesome. What do you think, man?
Well, that was good. What do you think?
I hope so. I don't know. I just hope it's not dumb.
I don't think it will be, but I thought it was going to be a little bit more awkward, but that's
Yeah.
good. Okay, so it's what am I going to say? I thought it was good.
Yeah, I think so. I just want to make sure that. Let me go back and listen. Because for some reason the audio files are quiet. You sack of potatoes. No, sack of potatoes. There it is. Let's see.
What's up, guys? It's Mario from the Major War Consulting Podcast. Welcome back. We are here in episode 31. I believe it's 31. And tonight we are looking a little bit different as far as in the podcast.
Oh, do you want to start recording us?
Oh, yeah.
Myself and Tyler.
See you guys.
See you guys. Take care.